Hi everybody, it's Claire back with a swatching video. So this I recorded when I got my new Swatch It stamp set. You can whiz through this video, you don't need to sit and watch it all. It's pretty straightforward. It was just me having a little bit of a play with the Art by Marlene paints that came over Christmas in the post. I decided I was going to use the Splat from my Swatch It stamp set. Grabbed my A3 sheet of mixed media paper and just kind of measured out how big I'd need the grid to be. So I decided the easiest way to do this was to draw the boxes, fill in the boxes with paint, then stamp on the Splat and then use the die cut to get that cut out, and that way I didn't have to sit and cut it out, because as you all know, I really don't like cutting out. Yes, although my mum said the other day, she was like, Claire, you said on your video you don't like doing cutting out. Those cut out pages are lovely. I was like, no, I didn't mean that. I meant cutting out with scissors. Oh dear. So these are the Art by Marlene paints that I've got, and they're gorgeous. Those are lovely colours. And so you can see I've drawn that grid, and then I just spent a bit of time. I put something lovely on to watch and just sat and swatched the paints out, washing my brush and drying it in between. Putting the paint into each of the boxes. I'm following the order that they are in the storage rack, just so that when I come to write the names on, I know which is which. They have got really cool names. But yes, that's one of the things I really like about the different designers' paints, is the names that they give to them. Really cool. So yeah, I haven't left it all in, because honestly you'd just be falling asleep watching this, but swatching those colours into the squares, really vibrant and bright. But then Marlene's designs really are, aren't they? So you can see I'm just blotting my brush off each time once I've given it a wash on that kitchen paper there, just so that my brush isn't too wet and watering down the colour too much. Okay, so I think I've edited out a chunk coming up. Yeah, just carrying on, swatching those paints. I never used to really bother swatching paints out until I got my hands on some Lindy's and decided I was going to swatch them, because Lindy's powders are so there are so many colours in them, and I thought it might be useful to have them swatched. And then that was the start of me swatching, which was where this stamp set came from. So it is a very useful thing to do with your paints, and particularly things like Lindy's or Brushos if you've got those. Because you can get a truer idea of how the colour will work on your paper, rather than just in the tube. It doesn't always come out the same. So then you can see I am just stamping the Splat onto those squares. You will be amazed to know that I have cleaned my acrylic blocks today. I feel quite proud of myself. Yes, they're nice and clean and no longer covered in archival ink. It's one of those jobs I've been meaning to do, and every time I'm either on a live or I'm recording and I get a block out, I'm like, oh no, how embarrassing, still not cleaned it. Well, I have now, so that's much better. So once I'd stamped all the splats on, I'm then going through and just popping the names onto those splats, the names of the paints, just so that I can identify them a little bit easier. And that made this whole process nice and easy. Yeah, it takes a little while. But then once I've written all the names on, then I just went and cut all the squares out. And then it was time to get the die cut machine out. So this made cutting them out so easy. I don't really use the die cut machine a great deal, but my goodness, I can see how this could become a thing. So yeah, just lining the die up with the stamped image and then whizzing it through the machine. It was super quick to cut it out. As you can see, this is not a new Sizzix Big Shot. It was one that I got secondhand actually from eBay a long time ago, and probably really need to replace the folder in it as well because it's got quite textured. In fact, it's almost like an embossing folder, it's that textured now. But yeah, I actually really enjoyed cutting these out, and it was lovely to kind of see this stamp set come to life using the die cut as well. I do still have a few of the die cut sets left in my shop on my website. I don't have any of the stamp sets left, I don't think. But I think Funky Fossil, Sarah at Funky Fossil might have some in stock. So once they were all cut out using the die cut, I then punched a hole into them all in the same place on all the splats using the crocodile, and then popped them onto a ring. So the idea is then I can hang them up on my wall, and when I want to use the paints, if I'm not entirely sure what's going to work well together, I can just have a quick flick through the swatch set and see what's going to work. These little rings I got off Amazon. They weren't very expensive, and they work perfectly for something like this. You can see how nicely they kind of work on there. So thanks for watching. A little bit of a different video, bit of swatching for you, and I hope to see you again soon.